Have you ever imagined a life where you get to travel the globe, cruise the open seas, and meet interesting people, all the while making discoveries that change our understanding of the world? Oceanographer Dr. Katie Croft Bell
Hey guys!
gets to do just that. She cruises the ocean aboard exploration vessel Nautilus, all in the name of science.
Welcome aboard! Thank you.
The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, but we've explored less than 5% of the sea floor. So although Bell has been hard at work exploring the ocean for almost 15 years, there's far more work to be done.
So what makes oceanography so important?
The oceans cover a huge percentage of the planet. We know some things, mid-ocean ridges, plate tectonics, these sorts of things, some species, but scientists estimate that there are millions of species of sea creatures that we don't know about at all. And all of these processes have an effect on the water that's surrounding them, and the water in turn affects the climate and the planet as a whole.
On this expedition, you'll join Bell and the Argonauts aboard the Nautilus as they cruise the Ionian Sea between Greece and Italy. Your expedition goal: understand the nature and importance of Earth's ocean. To accomplish your expedition goals successfully, you will need to relate plate tectonics to seafloor structures, investigate how changes in temperature and salinity cause changes in ocean water density, explore how changes in ocean water density affect the formation and movement of interconnected ocean currents. The average ocean depth is 4,000 meters. That's over 13,000 feet deep. While it's possible for humans to travel to those depths in submersibles, using robots is safer, more efficient, and more cost-effective. So Bell sends down Hercules, a remotely operated vehicle, or ROV. Hercules and the entire Nautilus crew are on a mission to explore places never seen before. There's so much left to discover, but scientists such as Bell have made huge strides in uncovering the mysterious landscapes of the deep sea. The mid-ocean ridge is a continuous range of underwater mountains that wraps around Earth. Sometimes, instead of forming near the mid-ocean ridge where plates pull apart, volcanoes and vents form near where plates come together or converge. Hercules has spent a lot of time visiting one such site, Colombo, a deep-sea volcano in the Aegean Sea.
Colombo was formed by the subduction of the African plate underneath the European and Aegean plates. This means that the African plate is moving underneath the other plates and forming a volcanic island arc in the southern Aegean Sea, and Colombo is one of those volcanic islands. One of the most important things we found at Colombo was an extensive hydrothermal vent system. This is where water from the sea is going down into the seafloor and getting superheated and enriched in minerals and gases that come back up out of the seafloor into the surrounding waters. One of the things we found at the hydrothermal vents was that there was massive amounts of bubbles coming out of them. So we were able to collect samples of these gases that were coming out and found that it was very, very high concentrations of carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. Now, these greenhouse gases have a very large effect on climate change, and so it's important for us to understand the amount of natural carbon dioxide and methane coming out of the seafloor and into the ocean so that we can compare that to the amount that humans are putting into the ocean. This will allow us to create a baseline understanding of the natural Earth system that can then be put into the models that climate researchers are building to better understand the Earth as a whole. So we can put this on a cable and throw it over the side or strap it to the side of Hercules and let it go down the water column to where we want to actually collect the sample. So then we bring it up and bring it into the lab, and there we're able to measure the temperature, measure the salinity, alkalinity or pH, and dissolved oxygen, and then we can start to see what's happening in the water, how geological processes are affecting the water, and then how the water in turn is affecting the biology that's living there.
Recently, Bell has found that one of those water properties, pH, is having a drastic effect on deep-sea biology. pH measures how acidic or basic a solution is on a scale of 1 to 14, with lower numbers being more acidic, higher numbers being more basic, and 7 being neutral, like your drinking water.
So what we've found actually just in the past few days is that inside Columba volcano, we've been studying that for about 5 years now, we found that as you descend in the water column with Hercules, at about 200 to 250 meters, we start to see a lot of bacteria, and we start to decrease the number of fish that we see. So there are very, very few fish and crabs and other things that you would expect to see on the seafloor. And so what we've been wondering is, why is it? What's going on in the water column that is making the fish not want to live there? So we've collected a number of water samples at different depths and in different locations around the bottom of the crater to try and figure out what's happening. And our initial results show that it's very acidic down there. The pH is much, much lower than average ocean pH, which is about 8 to 8.5. And so what we think is happening is that this is creating a very toxic environment for animals, and that's why they probably don't want to live there, because they can't.
Salinity, another feature of seawater, can even help reveal why global ocean currents behave the way they do.
Devin, can you tell us what salinity is?
Yes, salinity is the amount of salt in the water.
Excellent. And what does salt do to water? It makes it salty. But it also changes the density of water. Warm surface water flows from the tropics toward the poles. Cold, salty water forms on both sides of Greenland in the North Atlantic. This water sinks, forming the North Atlantic deep water current. This cold density current creeps south along the western side of the Atlantic, eventually meeting up with other cold, deep currents that form near Antarctica and circle the continent. From the Antarctic, some cold water loops up into the Indian Ocean and some loops up into the Pacific Ocean. Just like a conveyor belt, the cold, deep currents in the Pacific and Indian Oceans come up to the surface and join the warm surface currents. A major warm current crosses the Pacific from east to west, enters the Indian Ocean, wraps around the tip of Africa, and then crosses the southern Atlantic Ocean. This warm surface current eventually meets up with the Gulf Stream and moves along the east coast of North America before moving off toward northern Europe. The properties of seawater play a very large role in the exploration on the Nautilus. When we go out, we have an idea of what the average temperature is in an area, what the average salinity is, the dissolved oxygen. And whenever we see anomalies or differences from these averages, then we suspect there might be something interesting going on the seafloor.
These anomalies, whether formerly undiscovered underwater volcanoes, hydrothermal vents with their bizarre life forms, or other geologic and biological phenomena, are added to our maps of the seafloor. And as technology continues to advance, so do our maps and our ability to navigate the immense ocean floor.
So this technology has been developed over the last 10 and 20 years, and actually this is the first time that we've been able to map Colombo hydrothermal vent field ever. And it's really, really exciting. We don't know what's going to be next on the horizon for technology and how we're going to be able to do this even better in the next 5, 10, 20 years.
The future of ocean exploration is in the hands of the next generation. In their 3 days aboard the Nautilus, the Argonauts got a taste of current ocean exploration and what the future might hold.
So you guys have been out here for 3 whole days, and I want to know what you've learned and what you're going to bring back.
I think just how many fields of study there are within oceanography, because you can be a cook even, or you can work the ROVs, or you can kind of like just take pictures and stuff. It's kind of whatever you like. As long as you love the ocean and like adventure, you can find something to do out on the ocean on a ship like this.
It's true. So I'm really excited that the 3 of you had the opportunity to come out here, and I could share my experience and my research and the technology with you. And I challenge you to go off to college, study science, engineering, whatever it is that you find most captivating, most important to you, and then maybe you'll be in my seat in a few years.
And while the sun may be setting on this expedition, far more opportunities await you, as there are countless discoveries still to be made in our vast ocean.